What's up, guys? I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review, and I'm here with my review of the live-action version of Aladdin. Yeah, I'm a little late to the game, but I took my kids out to see this movie today, and what did I think of it? To be honest, I liked it quite a bit. I liked it quite a bit. Um, I'm kind of a fan of most of Disney's live-action adaptations, anyways. But this one, I just thought this one was really well done. That's not to say it was a perfect movie by any stretch of the imagination, but it did what it set out to do. It set out to retell the Aladdin story and to kind of grab that nostalgia for the original while at the same time being its own thing. And I think it did all those things very well. First of all, my favorite character in the movie was easily Jasmine. And I know a lot of people are going to say Will Smith is the genie. I'll get to him in a minute. But Jasmine, this was a very good portrayal of the Jasmine character for a couple of reasons. Number one, Naomi Scott just knocked it out of the park. The girl can sing. I mean, she can sing. I was really surprised by how well she did in the vocals, what she brought to the table vocally. I was surprised, but she was great in this movie. Secondly, the Jasmine character, there's a new dynamic to the Jasmine character in this movie that we didn't get in the original. And that dynamic is that she wants to be the Sultan. She believes that she's put in the time, she's put in the energy, she has the know-how, the knowledge, she has all the ability to be the Sultan. She still wants to find love. Make no mistake, she still wants to find love. So she's not necessarily against the idea of a prince coming to court her. She's against the idea of that prince running Agrabah, though, because she believes that she should be the one running it. Now, ancient law says that it can't be a woman, it has to be a man. Ancient law says she has to marry a prince. A lot of that, ancient law saying she has to marry a prince, that was something that existed in the original. But what didn't exist in the original was that idea that a woman cannot run Agrabah. Agrabah, it has to be a man, and that's why she has to marry a prince. So that was a new dynamic to this movie that I thought was extremely well done and just fit into this movie perfectly. There was even a new song called Speechless. She sang a little bit of it in the beginning, and then she had a big show-stopping song at the end, Speechless, where she's talking about how I may not be allowed to run this thing. I may not be allowed to step into the Sultan role, but I'm not going to be speechless. I'm going to make sure my voice is heard. Number one, I think that's a very modern sensibility, something that we should all, kind of strive for. No matter where we fall politically, whether we fall on the right, whether we fall on the left, whether we fall in the center, we should make sure that our voices are heard in respectful manners. So I like that. I like the fact that this is a character who's empowered and saying, I will not be speechless. Even if I'm not running the show, I'm going to make sure that my voice is heard, that I got something to say. So I think Jasmine was really well done in this movie. Again, Naomi Scott, don't underestimate her as an actress because she's been great in her last couple projects. She's been great, and she was great in Aladdin. So let's talk about Will Smith. He was good. He was really good as the genie. Now, one thing that was important for the genie role was that the genie would have high energy, be animated, be able to sing, and be able to kind of act goofy and silly, but not do a Robin Williams impersonation. That was the most important piece, was that he could be high energy and not just try to impersonate what Robin Williams did before. And Will Smith has his own brand of high energy, and he definitely brought that to this movie. There was a couple nods to Robin Williams' genie, but Will Smith definitely made this genie his own, which he had to. He had to. If anybody would have done a Robin Williams impersonation, it would have been compared, and it would have been compared unfavorably. So Will Smith doing his own thing and making it his own, making the genie role his own, that kind of takes the comparisons off the table. Sure, you can compare Robin Williams to Will Smith and say Robin Williams' genie was better or Will Smith's genie was better, but the comparisons really aren't applicable. Other than the fact that they both played the same character, they are so different from each other that it's like comparing Heath Ledger's Joker to Cesar Romero's Joker. They're so different that it's not a valid comparison, and that's kind of what we got with this. So Will Smith made it his own. And we all know Will Smith can sing. We all know that Will Smith can bring it in the acting department when he has to. And he brought all of that to this role. There were a few moments when the CGI made him look puffy, or you could tell, yeah, this is fake CGI. You know, this looks like CGI. Those moments certainly existed. But for the most part, Will Smith just brought this home. He just brought this home. And there was a sweet little subplot involving Will Smith and a romance that he had, a romance that the genie had, that obviously the original didn't have. And I thought it was really sweet and really nice, and definitely helped to bring the movie full circle. So, excuse me, so I really like the Will Smith character. The songs were all extremely well done. In the beginning, when Will Smith started singing Arabian Nights, I actually wasn't on board with that take of the song. I was like, oh, this feels karaoke. Honestly, that first song, Arabian Nights, I thought that it felt karaoke. But then we got into some of the big show-stopping numbers. You know, the Aladdin song, One Jump Ahead, or whatever it's called, the Whole New World, and then you get into Naomi Scott's song Speechless. Yeah, you know, these musical numbers were extremely well done. And oh, Friend Like Me was a lot of fun. It was just a feast for the eyes. It was a feast for the eyes watching A Friend Like Me, and trying to pick out the moments from the original while at the same time seeing all the new stuff that they're doing. It was chaotic, it was frantic, and it was fun. A Whole New World was just beautiful. You know, they took this this Middle Eastern landscape and made it wondrous and beautiful for us to behold as they're flying over it with the magic carpet. And I will say this though, for the Whole New World song, Naomi Scott is a better singer than the boy that they got to play Aladdin, and it's painfully obvious in this song. What was his name? I think his name was Mina Musad, or Mina Musad. I think it was Mina Musad. I'd never seen him in anything before, but like I said, when Naomi Scott was singing A Whole New World and he had to sing with her, it was horribly obvious that she is a far superior singer. She's also a far superior actor than he was. Let's talk about Aladdin for a second. We've kind of talked about the songs a little bit, so let's talk about the title character himself. Mina Musad, he held his own for the most part. I'd never seen him in anything before. I'm sure that he's been in some roles in Hollywood before, and maybe I've seen him and just didn't realize that this was the future Aladdin. Or maybe I haven't seen him. I'm not sure what... Actually, I can look it up real fast. Let's see what he's done before. I'd be interested in that. All right, Mina Musad. Let's find out what his filmography is. All right, we've got Let's Rap in 2015, Ordinary Days in 2017, Run This Town 2019, Aladdin 2019, Strange But True 2019. Only one of those I've seen is Aladdin. So he's pretty new to the game as far as films are concerned. Let's see. He's been in some TV. The 99, that might be where I've seen him before. I've seen some of the 99. Cut to the Chase, King, Open Heart, Saving Hope, Jack Ryan. I haven't had a chance to watch Jack Ryan yet, and I really want to. Yeah, there's no... Obviously, I haven't seen him in anything before because I haven't seen any of those. He was okay. He was okay. He held his own with a superior actress and a superior co-star in Will Smith, which I did notice in the movie. Will Smith got the title nod. So Mina Musad definitely held his own, and he was very serviceable in the role. He was not as good as an actor as his other two co-stars. He was not as good of a singer as his other two co-stars, But I do think it was very important. We know that representation matters, so it was very important that they got the right ethnicity to play the role of Aladdin. And I like the idea that they're out there offering roles, larger roles, to people of non-white background. And we know for a fact that there would have been a huge uproar had they cast anybody other than Middle Eastern in this role, and especially if it was a white guy, there would have been a huge uproar, and this movie would have never done well for good reasons and some bad reasons. I think that there's a lot of validity to representation and making sure that Hollywood isn't whitewashed anymore. I also think there's a lot of trolls out there who get mad over something that isn't necessarily whitewashing or meant to be prejudiced, like the Scarlett Johansson thing in Ghost in the Shell. I didn't find that offensive. And this is a white guy, pasty white guy, saying that I didn't find that offensive. But trying to look at it critically, I didn't see that as being whitewashing or offensive. Whereas I would see casting a white person in the role of Aladdin, I would see that as whitewashing and offensive. So maybe it's just a shortcoming on my part, where I'm just more sensitive to it in some areas and not in others. I don't know, but I love the idea that Hollywood is getting more open to the idea of people from other backgrounds, non-white people, in lead roles and title roles. And like I said, Aladdin, Mina Masad did a serviceable job in the role, and he's just going to get better. The more opportunities he's given, he's just going to get better, and I could see him becoming a big star one day. He's not yet, and he doesn't have the tools to do it yet. Well, he's probably got the tools, but he doesn't have the ability to be a big star yet. But he's probably got the tools, and he probably has the ability to do it with some more growing and some working on the role. And then you've got the role of Jafar. So Aladdin, Mina Masad, good, serviceable, just not quite as good as Naomi Scott or Will Smith. And then obviously you've got the role of Jafar. He was what was needed for this role to be believable. You know, if we would have had the mustache twirling bad guy from the original Aladdin, who had this evil voice and everything about him just looked evil, I think it would have taken us out of it a little bit. What we got was somebody with a bit of a softer face, a softer voice, but a hard edge to him. I was surprised at the Jafar character, but I walked away having really, really liked the take on the character. And the reason I'm kind of being hesitant and trying to find my words is that I think this is one that people are going to be really split on, because he's not a whole lot like the original Jafar. He's very different from the original Jafar. And we got a take on this character that I didn't really know that I wanted. But after I saw it, I was like, that was a good take. I could see why the Sultan would trust this guy. He looks humble. He looks kind of meek. Other than the regalia that he wears, his face. Just think about his face. His face is rather humble. And his voice is very soft. And I just felt like I get it. I get how this guy could dupe the Sultan. So it took a lot of the same beats where Jafar's storyline goes, right to the finale. They changed the finale up quite a bit, actually, but all of Jafar's beats stayed the same at the finale. And I feel like that was a good thing. They had to do that. Pretty much the only beats that changed were Jasmine's changed a lot in the finale, and Aladdin's changed a little bit. But Jafar stayed the same. And it had to happen because those were the beats that would have kept the story familiar to all of the Aladdin fans. So, yeah, this was a good, solid Disney live-action remake. Not the best, but nowhere near the worst, you know, and nowhere near like Alice in Wonderland, Alice Through the Looking Glass, Maleficent. You know, this is way superior to those movies. Is it as good as like The Jungle Book, which is probably the best Disney live action adaptation to this point? Cinderella was a really good one. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch it a little bit more. It was very well done though. Right now, I'm kind of putting it right around the quality of like Beauty and the Beast, the live action Beauty and the Beast, which is a good thing. That Beauty and the Beast was a very good movie. So I'm putting it kind of around that quality right now. It might go up, might go down upon rewatching, but Aladdin was definitely very solid. There was always a lot of fear about this movie during the marketing campaign. They kind of hid the singing, they hid the pictures, they hid a lot of it right up to the last minute. And then when we finally saw it, it was kind of split the critics, but the fans seem to really like it. This is going to end up becoming a huge money-making hit for Disney. All you gotta do is check Box Office Mojo, and you'll see this is making a lot of money. This is very successful. And you can see why. It's a good movie. So, that's my take on it. A good movie. Not phenomenal, but not bad at all. Just a good, solid movie that's well worth your $8 that would cost you to go to a matinee to see it. And yeah, Disney's Aladdin, 2019. I know that I'm late to the game. It's been out a couple weeks and I just saw it today. What'd you think of the movie? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers, guys. I know that it's small potatoes, that I'm just this little tiny minnow in this huge YouTube pond. But man, I'd love to hit that 100 subscribers. That would just make me feel good. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and help me out. All right. And as always, thank you for being here at the LQ Review, where we talk about all the geeky, all the nerdy stuff that we love to talk about. And until next time, we'll see you later.